in thinking about life management platform, it would be real easy to fall into the trap that what we're looking for is another silo, and that some vendor is going to own this and be able to impinge their technologies on you. And the way we see it at Cuppinger Cole is that it's a concept that is designed to not be dominated by a vendor. Now, many times, the approach that the industry takes to make sure that happens is go to open source providers. The way we see it, there's nothing wrong with open source, but it's not a requirement. It doesn't have to happen that way. Again, nothing wrong with it, but it's not something that we feel is a minimal requirement or even a broader one. This can be done by commercial vendors just as easily as it could by open source. And one of the other reasons is because we want it on all devices, not just open source platform or operating systems. So, we want to see it on your mobile device, your laptop, your traditional system, and on Linux systems too. So, lots of platforms that can be done that way. But in general, what we see the life management platform is a living, evolutionary product that is a set of services, all at layer 7, interestingly enough. It's not the plumbing. It's a set of services that interoperate well with each other from different vendors, so that you're never locked in to a particular vendor in order to use that service, and yet can still be interoperable and communicate with other individual services and individual life management platform frameworks. So in thinking about that, we've come up with a set of minimum requirements that will drive that. There might be some that come up later, but here's what they are. We want the API design to be RESTful. We think that OAuth is the best authentication mechanism right now. So, the combination of RESTful APIs coupled with OAuth authentication is a start there. The next is that they're loosely coupled. You don't require services to have a stateful connection. That can be stateless. As a matter of fact, by design it should be. The other is event-driven. And the reason you want it to be event-driven is that when there is a service or a device or a component in your life management infrastructure that has something happen and needs to communicate with another component, the way that it does that is to signal an event. And then the logic around other systems can say, hey, event happened, what do I do? So that's the loosely coupled part. Whereas if I have to do, and recently there's a lot of talk about how the Internet of Things, we're going to create a protocol that teaches these things to communicate to each other directly. Never happened. It's never going to happen. The way to do it is keep them loosely coupled and use event systems to go back and forth between the communication with business logic in between them. And that's what the webhook is for, is a structure whereby these two components can do event-driven communications. And finally, really important is what I call a facade proxy, and there's a lot written about that, but the facade proxy basically shows you a time and place to do privacy by design, so that you're making sure that informed out and permissioned input or controlled input is maintained. If we can't maintain the privacy in this design, then it's never going to get off the ground. So the closest thing that's happening in the RESTful community is a facade proxy that lets you design specifically through Trust Frameworks what the privacy components are when you have two communicating systems. Now, I think I would add that another really big thing that's making this life management platform so compelling are a couple of things, and it's the 5 tenets of the Carpenter-Cole API economy. And one is that everything and everyone will be API enabled. Now, when you start thinking about how big that is, it's trillions of identities in the next 20 years that need to be not just generated, but generated just in time, automated, and regenerated. I really liked Pam Deagle's notion today that our binary thinking of what an object does when it presents itself as to be identified and authenticated, it isn't going to work. And when you're talking about trillions of identities, you can start to think why, because the ability to manage that in any way, shape, or form that will scale is extremely difficult. So the combination of a trust framework, which gives you the analog elements that, so you don't have to have binary, is coupled with the API economy, is going to build that foundation for us. Anyway, finally, one thing that really helps in understanding the life management platform is to state some of the things it's not. I didn't tell you the rest of the tenets of the API economy. One is, I said, everything and everyone will be API enabled. Then the other is, if you're not engaged in creating a strategy in your organization to be both an API provider and consumer, you're behind the game. You need to get involved with that. And then the other two that are really important are the enterprise inside out and the enterprise outside in, and that's the API consumption coming in and API consumption coming out. And it's very similar to the things we talk about with the life management platform, and why I like the notion of an enterprise of one, because you become as important as a big company when you have a life management platform that operates, because now it's become your IT infrastructure that's letting you deal with the planet in an organized way. So two other little things. What a life management platform is not is it's not a social network. And it's also not a personal data store. These are elements that that the life management platform supersedes. It's much bigger than that. So there's my basic little review.
Great.